Hey you guys, welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. Oh, my warmth loving heart is so happy right now. It is 60 degrees outside in January, and I'm finally going to get out here to the garden and do some cleanup. We had that really nice extended fall, and then it's just been cold and wet pretty much ever since. And so my garden is a mess and it needs a lot of cleanup. I'm going to turn you guys around and show you what I'm talking about, but I've done nothing out here since it froze at the end of November. So this is what it looks like right now. You can see lots of dead plants that need to be cleaned out. And so I'm going to get to work on that today. So I thought maybe we would talk a little bit while I'm doing this cleaning out of the garden. Oh man, I'm going to need bigger pruners. I'm sitting here in the peppers and they have really sturdy stems on them. I'm trying to leave the roots, because leaving your roots to break down in the soil just adds some extra health to your soil. But we'll see if I can do that because these guys are really sturdy. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to break the plants off. I'm going to try. But anyway, I'm working on getting this all cleaned out because I want to get the landscape fabric off. If you guys were around last year, you know I have landscape fabric down here with holes for my peppers. I loved it. It helped with the weeds so much. I cannot recommend it enough if you have major weed problems. If you're like me and you live in the South, I can't imagine you don't have major weed problems. So I want the landscape fabric down, but I need to get everything cleaned up. I need to get things amended. And one of the things I need to do is I got a soil test kit over Black Friday. I got a sale on it. And so I need to do a soil test kit here in my raised bed so I know exactly what I need to do to amend my soil. So the roots did end up coming up with this pepper plant. Is what it is. I'm doing the best I can. But that's the big things on my agenda, because believe it or not, here in North Alabama, we're not that far off from planting some of the things in our garden. We will be able to plant peas here in a week or two. At least that is what I've heard. I've never planted peas that early, but I joined a gardening group on Facebook, and it's for North Alabama, and people are talking about planting their peas in February. So I don't want to miss out on time I could have my plants growing and potentially extend my harvest, because peas do not like it warm. And we have had years where I didn't get a whole lot from my peas just because by the beginning of May, we were up in the 90s and the peas really hated that. So if I can give them a head start, that's on my agenda. What else can we plant early? Oh, last year, Lowe's had onion starts like in February. So I got those out as early as possible. That was actually one of my very first videos, you guys, was the planting onions last year. And what else? Like radishes, rutabagas, things like that. All of those nice root vegetables can go in really soon. So we've got to clean out the mess, get the soil amended, and get things all ready for those spring crops. Oh, you guys, I have a problem. And this is why I'm not a fully organic gardener here, because I found out 2 years ago when I stepped in an anthill that I am allergic. Can you see all of these guys crawling? They are everywhere here in where my sweet peppers were while I'm pulling these plants out. And it's just not good. So I'm going to have to use some kind of ant trap, I think, to try and get rid of this nest. There is also, I had to move away from the camera so you guys can see because I was causing a shadow. They built this big old pile right next to my bed, and there's just tons of them. I'm gonna see if I can get in close for you guys and not be shading it. Can you see all of them there? It's awful. So my mom is out here working with me, and she said to ask, do you guys know any foolproof ways to get rid of the ants that are organic? Because this is kind of a nightmare. Well, you guys, you can see I've got all of the pepper plants and eggplants pulled out of this bed. I'm going to have to wait to take the landscape fabric up because the ants are really bad and I did get bit, so that's not ideal. And my mom has been working on taking flowers out. I don't know if she's in the shop. Mom, wave in case they can see you. So we're cleaning out the flowers and we're making some good progress. So I think whatever I do next, I'm getting away from the ants. That's for sure. I decided my next task is going to be working on cleaning the trellises off of tomatoes. So we're going to get these pulled off and bagged up. Because we're going to want these trellises for things like peas here really soon. Do you guys have favorite varieties of peas you grow? I have only ever grown sugar snap and snow peas. But I decided this year I also wanted to try some shelling peas. And so I ordered some called, I think they were called Abe Lincoln. I ordered them from Baker Creek. And they said they're supposed to handle the heat better than a lot of other varieties. So my hope is that if we were to get too hot this summer, or well, in the spring, that they would hold on a little bit longer. But we're just going to have to see. But if you live in the South and you have some tried and true pea varieties, I would love to hear what they are. My sugar snap and snow peas that I'm growing are sugar magnolia tendril peas. And, oh, I'm going to butcher this name. It's called Carnoubi de Maasai. I think it's a French name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but I really liked those. Those were a snow pea. Plus, they have the beautiful pink flowers. My mom was just asking if we could grow English peas. Mom, that's what the Abe Lincoln I was talking about is a shelling pea that's supposed to be more heat resistant. It just occurred to me, maybe when my mom comes out here and works with me, we should put a microphone on her. So if she asks me a question, you guys can hear. I'm just going to work on getting all of these tomatoes cleared out. This is quite the job. And there's a ton of weeds underneath here. But I do want to show you guys, there's also some cilantro mixed in and a few other things. So when I get to actually weeding underneath, I'm going to have to be really careful. For those of you in more northern climates, you might be like, what are you talking about weeding? But even getting down to, I think we got down to maybe like 9 degrees at our coldest. We have a ton of green stuff in our garden. Not stuff I planted, but green. I cannot even begin to tell you what a gift this day felt like. The warmth, the beautiful blue sky and sunshine, and just getting to spend a few hours out here in the garden and cleaning trellises off and seeing the garden sort of coming back to life a little bit and being closer to ready for planting this spring. It was what my heart needed on this day. And I'm so grateful that we got the opportunity to do it. So I just can't wait for planting season to really get started. Here you can see, guys, we got this whole trellis that had tomatoes on it this last summer cleaned off. I am very happy. I'm very happy to see things taking progress, even if it's not all. I tend to be the kind of person who wants to like do one bed and it look perfect and be done. And that's just not how it was going to work today with those ants over there. But it's still really great to see progress and things getting clean. And my mom wants you to see that the flower bed is all nice and cleaned out. So we're going to go over there. Here you go, guys. Here's my mom and all of her hard work cleaning that bed out. So we are going to get to amend that and figure out what we're going to plant there this year. So there are some things that are growing in here that I wanted to show you guys because I'm really excited about it. If you were around in the fall, then you probably know I tried planting lettuce and stuff under my tomato plants. And we had one of the driest Octobers ever in this part of Alabama. We got rain on October 31st, and that meant it wasn't the driest October ever. So it didn't seem to matter how much I came out here and watered, just those tiny little seeds were not germinating because it was so dry. So some of those seeds did eventually germinate once it started raining again, and I just wanted to give you guys a peek at that. You can see down here tons of weeds, but mixed in these weeds are things like, this is cilantro right here growing, like some, smells amazing. And we'll come over here. Right here, you can see this is actually some speckled leafed, oh, what's the word? My brain is blanking on me. This right here is some speckled leaf romaine that managed to germinate out of that seed that I had. Here's another one that's coming up. And out of a mix of things I had, I've got some kale. This plant is very small, but it's not going to take much time now that our days are getting longer for that to grow into a nice, beautiful plant that's going to give us lots of food. I'm looking for it. There was another one of those kale plants. I don't see it, but it might still be here. And then that kale plant, I didn't pull the roots last year. I thought I did, but I didn't. And so it came back, and the kale tastes fantastic. So that is kale that we actually were eating on last winter as well. So we've made a lot of progress just in this one day. I'm really happy. I don't think it's going to take us too terribly long to get this all cleaned out. And then we'll get our soil test done and get our beds amended. And then we can talk seeds, because I'm very excited about the things we're going to plant this year. We are going to do some things differently this year. We're going to move some things around. I actually already recorded an outro once, but then we kept working, and I thought you guys would like to see everything we got done. So we got all of these trellises here mostly cleaned off. We still have some bindweed we have to get off. I think my mom's still working on that a little bit. But we got all of the tomato plants pulled, all of our basil plants, all of the flowers and peppers. I am going to have to wait here until I can get the ants killed to deal with taking the landscape fabric up and amending the bed. But huge progress. And it's January still. So yeah, I'm really excited for gardening season. It's so nice to be back outside and to have nice weather. So if you want to see more gardening, we will be at it here in no time. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm so glad you were here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.